I always thought about suicide and stuff like that, but I never harmed myself. And then it's like you go to these, put yourself in these hostile environments. Like, well, shoot, if I die, at least die a noble man. You know what I'm saying? I'll say the blueprint for all of this is just art in general. You know, so it don't matter what that looks like for you, any form of art. But cooking is my form of art, and that's how I communicate with people. Any of this was it ever about food?
Yeah.
You know, I ask myself that often. You know,
and I was gonna answer that. I was gonna ask that too. Like, so even now, is it
truth in the air? Let it speak.
You been to Italy?
Yeah, man. I did some time. We went to Italy in freaking May, the start of like the early part of the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it was an out of body experience. It's crazy. Like the food was mid though. I ain't gonna lie. The food was not that great. Like the food there, but they need some Old Bay over there. They need some Old Bay, but all the right flavors, just not enough flavor. You know, or maybe it's just us just having food just oversaturated. Like we oversaturate our food with seasonings and stuff.
Because we like to be able to taste it.
Yeah,
you know, we don't like bland food.
Right.
You know, salt and pepper is not. It's not all the seasoning that they create. You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, we already in the episode.
Let's do it.
We already recording, so we here. Listen, y'all, welcome back to another episode of Creative Roots Podcast, where seeds sown become visions grown. And as y'all know, this month of November, we are keeping up with the theme of Thanksgiving. And we have none other than Chef DJ, because he told me, he corrected me before we started. I was going to give y'all his government. But yes, Chef DJ is here with us in the studio. Can you please introduce yourself to the people and let them know what you do?
Yeah, he done said everything. Chef Darius, culinary artist, visionary, restaurateur, mentor, mental health advocate, you name it. You know, veteran as well, military veteran as well. Shout out to anybody in here serving the Army, or any. I don't care about the other Air Force. I don't care about the Army. I don't care about the rest of them. This is the Army. If you was the Army, we good. You know, so 12-year veteran. Got a medical retirement about 3 years ago, and took a leap of faith after, you know, I was already in the restaurant space, just kind of in my catering business. So now stepping out on faith, ready to hit the ground running. We got a restaurant coming, so we'll get to that too, you know. But Chef Darius, I'm here, man. What's happening, brother?
What's going on? So, like I said, you know, everything is themed around Thanksgiving. So y'all already know we're about to eat. But we're going to hold off on that. We're going to put that at the end of the episode, because he say, so we eating before, we eating during? Nah, hold on. Let's get through the interview, because if we eat now, it ain't going to be no episode. So listen. So what got you started, or like what seeds were planted that got you started into the whole culinary space?
Oh, man. If I'm going back, if I'm telling a short story, I did some time, and when I was in high school, one of my first jobs was I was a dish boy. You know, and I worked at a little mom and pop restaurant. You know, half of the restaurant's a little country spot, and the other half is a meat market. You know, so you know, that was my first job. Shout out to Bamberg, South Carolina. That's where I'm from. Those are my roots. Gave me my first opportunity in the kitchen, but I always watched the older ladies cook that mac and cheese, and you know, fry that chicken.
So that's secret number one.
Yeah,
that's secret number one right there.
Yes. Just watching. I was a very observant kid. I used to be washing those dishes and scrubbing those pots, but I used to look over my shoulder, and every now and then Mr. Pam would ask me, he'd say, Bubba, you know, I'm about to dry the chicken, you know, take it out in 20 minutes. So I'm like, all right, well, I know a batch of chicken take 20 minutes to make, you know, and then he's like, you know, I'm about to put his mac and cheese in, you know, pulling out about 45 minutes. Now I know that good mac and cheese, it take 45 minutes to make, you know. So from there, it's like little fundamental steps. That's some of my first moments in the kitchen, and going through high school. I used to take my money that I made from there and walk across the street with just Piggly Wiggly, and we would get extra credit for like cooking in class and stuff like that. So home economics, you know, one time I got in trouble for stealing some crab legs from my mama's house. I stole some crab legs, and I was like, man, I was there and watched them for about a week. I was like, man, ain't anybody about to eat these crab legs. And I took them to school, not knowing it was for a cookout of, for the family, And I took them to school, stuffed them in my book bag, took them to school. And I still think my cousin Ashley ratted me out for that, man. I never forgive her for that. She ratted me out. I remember getting off the bus and they say, I wouldn't want to be you right now. And man, that was the worst whipping I ever got. That was in my 9th grade year. So, but it wasn't about the crab legs for me. It was about the impact that I saw the teachers and the staff having from me cooking the crab legs. So that was.
So it was worth it.
Yes, it was worth the whipping. I ain't gonna lie, my butt still hurt from that one. I ain't gonna lie, that was a tough day. But I go back and I saw how I had teachers coming from other end of the school because they smelled those crab legs, and so it was like impact. That was the impact, an impactful moment for me because it's like flavor. Now I didn't understand flavor, but I knew that they had those little Old Bay things you can drop in the what you call it, in the water, and you just you cook it like that, and that's how you did boiled crab legs back, down from the Low Country. You just drop those little bags in, so. That was some of my early days of cooking, and I used to cook for Miss Dobble's class, Spanish class. I go to the store, get a little Spanish food, and my mom, she didn't know I was doing it, but I would literally wait until they they left to go to work, and I go pull that stuff out the refrigerator and whip it up real quick, and take their pots right on to school, wrap the pots up, take them to school, serve it to the class. That was some of my early days of cooking. I was in 9th and 10th grade during that time. But the whole time I was, working with Mr. Pam, and he was like what I looked at as a boss. He was an entrepreneur. He used to cut my hair since I was 5 years old. He used to cut my hair. So he was like somebody that this is the type of person I want to be like, So Mr. Pam was somebody that was always there, supported me. He convinced me to join the Army. My mom and dad, they would tell me to do it. It's like, I ain't nobody like tell me what to do. But Mr. Pam told me to do it. It's like, oh, now I'm joining the Army,
So he's a real mentor.
Yes, he was somebody that didn't even know it, didn't even know it. But I adopted so many traits that I wanted in my business acumen was just somebody that had a blueprint. That store's been open maybe 60 plus years now. Ooh. He had it passed down from him, from an older white guy that was, that he worked for growing up. So B&B Meats, that was my first opportunity in the kitchen. Didn't know nothing about cooking, never was asked to cook nothing. But I always get that lunch break, and I dang on going, get that rice and gravy with the mac and cheese, and the collards, and and they had a breakfast menu, and then they went over to the lunch menu. So I would get something for breakfast, a little something for lunch, and I eat all of it, and I would come back and wash my dishes, But that opportunity showed me hustle, and just grit, and just somebody that never stopped believing in himself. So shout out Mr. Pam for being that blueprint for me. Just somebody that was always supportive of anything I had going on.
Yeah, we appreciate that blueprint.
Yes, sir.
And it says a lot because some people don't even know or realize that they're mentoring somebody. They just naturally speak. They just naturally do. And that goes to that saying that's like, be careful of what you say and what you do because you never know who's looking.
Right.
And I had a couple of those people, but this ain't about me. This ain't about me. I was about to go left.
Sure ain't. Let's go.
I was about to go left because I just seen Shamar.
Nah, I got you, brother. I got you. But those are some of my first days in the kitchen. I never like anytime I'm doing something great, I always sit back and think about Mr. Pam. Every now and then I can pick up the phone and call and say, Mr. Pam, I want nothing. I just call, check on you. Let me know if you need anything. So he was always somebody that I could always pick up the phone and call. Right, and I could start the interview right now. You say, Bubba, what's going on? My nickname growing up was Bubba. You always Bubba, what's going on? But he was always somebody I looked up to as a kid. And anytime I go down to Bamberg, I always make sure I stop there and get me some lunch.
Oh yeah, you gotta stop by.
Every time
you go home, you gotta stop by.
Yes, sir.
You got
man, he's straight Low Country. He done said the Piggly Wiggly.
Yes.
His nickname Bubba.
Yeah.
Man, I know this food about to be good.
Cotton fields, all of that. All of that.
Man. So high school, then got in trouble for stealing these crab legs. I'm still tripping off of that one.
Yeah.
So when you did it, I know you said that, at that time was like you didn't really know about seasoning. So I guess you were just doing like, because you said you were watching the older ladies. So I was like, It's official. Creative Roots Podcast is going live on December 20th. Join us from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Charlotte Podcast Studio for a live audience experience featuring returning guests, Q&A sessions, and celebration of everything we built together this year. Mark your calendar, tell a friend, and follow us for more updates leading up to Creative Roots Live. Because you said you were watching the older ladies. So I was like, is that you just saying, you just grab and say, I know this is how much,
Right.
even though you dropping in that bag, you just know how much.
Mama wouldn't let us even use the computer back then, but when it was gone, I was sneaking on that computer, but I ain't looking up stuff I ain't supposed to look. I'm looking up recipes. You know what I'm saying?
Mama, I did not know any of this. So when if and when you decide to whoop him for all these secrets he releasing, I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I don't want none of that.
Yeah, listen, she did not know. She still don't know. You know, I never. But it was like that. I didn't know that. Like I look back and I still ask myself, was it really about food? You know what I'm saying? Just coming from certain things, certain childhood traumas. We can get into that if you want to, you know, but it's certain things that happened to me as a kid that food was always my outlet.
I was about to say that was your comfort space,
You know?
like music for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just throw on a pair of headphones and I'm no longer in this world.
Right.
I'm completely out of this space.
Absolutely.
You know, and I mean, that's a whole lot better than, you know, getting drunk and getting high. And then, I mean, you still got to deal with your problems, but at least you don't have to come down off of much anything in that aspect. So finding your safe space while cooking, I guess you can talk about that as much as you feel.
Yeah. So, I'll say the blueprint for all of this is just art in general, you know, so it don't matter what that looks like for you, any form of art, but cooking is my form of art, and that's how I communicate with people. That's how I get to know people, and, you know, people that have had a chance to eat my food. That's how I communicate with them. It don't matter whether it's a private dinner for 2 or whether it's a wedding for 400. I want that experience to be personal, you know, and I don't know, it wasn't always like that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go through some changes. I done showed up to weddings where I wasn't as prepared as I thought I was. You know what I'm saying? So it's like just my whole journey in general, just resilience. But everything kind of flowed back to art for me because I grew up drawing and painting a lot. I won a lot of art contests as a kid. Had some opportunities. I drew some yearbook covers in high school. Those were some of my early days of drawing and painting and stuff. And then I wanted to be a basketball player, you know. So I played basketball all my high school years. And I tore my ACL my senior year. Ooh. So, you know, ended up going into the Army though, you know. So, but everything flows back to art. Every single part of my life, from drawing in the third grade and having my paintings across the school, and, you know, and winning international art contests with one of my best friends, my childhood best friend Marcus. We won a lot of art contests growing up, and we were in a lot of gifted arts programs. So I didn't want to go home after school. I wanted to go to gifted arts. You know, and that program was from 4 to 6 every day. You know, Miss Smith and Miss Wise, all those ladies that poured into me as a kid. I always think about those ladies all the time. I know they still alive. They're my Facebook friend now, but, you know, like I always look back, and those ladies were always super instrumental in my growth, and, you know, and always somebody I could talk to. But a lot of the childhood traumas, like that was my escape. You know, we were adopted by some family members. Growing up, me, my brother, and my sister, Demetri and Dominic. I'm the youngest of the 3, but we were all separated, and my family brought us back together. So we all had an opportunity to grow up together, had a second shot at life, and you know, I used to watch people like my sister, you know, go through certain things that happened in the household that we didn't know nothing about. Always ran away. She's always a runaway kid. You know, my brother was always in and out of ISS and OSS and just having behavioral problems, and it's just a problem in the Black community in general. Just being honest, you know, it's a problem in the Black community that, you know, and that was an outlet for my brother. His was violence and cutting up in school, but mine was like, nah, I'm gonna just go over here. I ain't trying to talk to nobody. I'm gonna just draw this thing up right here, boom, boom. And that was my outlet, and then that eventually translated into food, down the road as time progressed. So, I joined the military right out of high school, and so cooking didn't come along probably till like 2018, 2019. That's when it really became a thing. But I knew how to cook. I knew how to do certain things. Mom's mac and cheese, fried chicken. But I knew certain things about food, but I didn't really take it serious until I ended up cooking for some friends at a housewarming. And I took some seafood mac and cheese, and that's when I lived in South Carolina, and I saw the reaction that everybody had to the, all the other food was still there, but all the 4 pans I made, they didn't clean that up, So shout out to my homeboy Hamilton down in South Carolina. Like, that was one of my first moments. Didn't realize I was having a whole conversation with news reporters.
That's when it clicked.
That's when it clicked, and a few days later I was at the car wash getting my car clean. And I got a call about going on the news. So I called Hamilton. I was like, bro, what you think I should do? He's like, man, I think you should do it. And I literally came up with an LLC. I didn't have no LLC. I didn't have nothing. But it was asking, what's the name of your business? No Else Catering. And I said it out loud. That's my daughter's middle name, So I said it out loud because it was something that was already in my head. I said it out loud. And people was hitting me up while the interview was happening. I felt the phone buzzing while the interview was in progress about weddings, about events and stuff like that. And a couple of my Army buddies gave me, some opportunities to cater their weddings and events and stuff like that. So I wasn't taking my money just screwing around. I was just taking everything I had up front to buy everything I needed. So even including a van. I bought a van early on, and
so you started out straight investing.
Yes, just took every last bit of my earnings and put it back into the business.
No playing around.
No playing around. And I was undercharging myself because I would charge these guys like $1,700. It's like, man, I might walk away after that. I done spent $1,600 on food and materials and labor.
They gave you back gas money.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Just enough, but it taught me so much about how to charge my product too, because I was going through a period where I didn't even want to overcharge people because I didn't really know what I was doing. Just being honest, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, I'm not about to take your bread and screw up. But man, you ain't about to get nobody else to cater your wedding for $1,700 either. You know what I mean?
Nah, you ain't getting that at all.
Right. That's for me now. That might just be labor now. You know what I'm saying? Just being honest, for a wedding of 150 people. You know what I mean? But this was pre-COVID as well, so food costs are a lot different. So
true.
Yeah. So looking back, man, I took a lot of losses up front just to kind of gain some knowledge. You know what I mean? And they weren't really losses. They was opportunities to pivot. You know what I mean? That's
lessons.
Just how I look at it. Yeah, just lessons.
There were
right?
lessons.
Yeah. So I look back, and some of those weddings, I was just like, man, I don't know what I was thinking taking that on, but I just woke up with a certain type of courage, and I'd never been a person that was afraid to fall on my face and get back up and try it again. And that's just something that the military taught me: take your L and go on about your day.
You know what I'm
saying? Just keep it moving. You're gonna go through some turbulence. You're going to experience turbulence, but I learned a lot by just taking my butt in the military. Taught me structure, taught me discipline, and, a lot of fundamental skills that a lot of people lack. I was adopting those habits, and I was listening to the OGs that had been in the military 25 years, about to retire. I'm listening to them. Yeah. Tell me everything about disability. Tell me everything about how to gain work in the National Guard, how to get promoted, how to stay in shape and stuff like that. And I picked up some unhealthy habits early on, just listening to certain people in my career. Mm-hmm. But I adopted some very significant traits that carry me a long way in life. That's way beyond the military, way beyond the kitchen. There's certain things that you have, and it's just I'm in my least panicking state. I learned how to adapt to any room, certain little things that you pick up from just being in chaos, being in the midst of chaos, and learn how to keep a calm nervous system, Yeah,
because they do teach y'all how to do that. They mention that on a lot of movies, like, you have to be able to be in that calm, panicking state, because if not, that's what'll get you killed type stuff. So I
remember I first went to Afghanistan. I stepped off the plane in Kandahar Air Base, And man, we was in a bunker for 5 hours. That's when Skype was popping, you know. And I had, I was dating somebody back then. We on Skype, you know. And you hear those missiles going off and stuff like that, and they don't know what's going on. We want no FaceTime. Well, it wasn't FaceTime for me. The iPhone was a thing, but I didn't have an iPhone. I had a Droid. So I'm on the Skype. I'm on Uvu, whatever it's called. You know, the little video chats.
I remember all of them.
You know what I'm saying? I'm doing that stuff back then on the laptop. You know what I'm saying? But I remember like hearing those missiles going off, and it sounded like a whistle until it hits the ground. So and then you just incoming. And it's an alarm on the iPhone actually that sounds just like the alarm in Afghanistan. You know, it's like, and I remember hearing that thing go off, and I'm like, man, this is real. I thought this was a game. You know what I'm saying? I thought I was just going here to run a checkup.
I was just coming over and make sure y'all was good.
That was my welcome to Afghanistan moment. But just being in that moment, I was kind of distraught because I'm like, you know, in my head, it's like, you know, we're just trickling back in the story, just talking about childhood stuff. It's like, man, I always thought about suicide and stuff like that, but I never harmed myself. And then it's like you go to put yourself in these hostile environments. Like, well, shoot, if I die, at least die a noble man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That was my mindset. You know, in survival mode, that was my mindset. So it's like, man, if I go over here and die, at least I know, man, look, you know, I ain't gotta carry this no more, and you know, I don't have to heal from it. I can just die. That, you know, my kids get all my honors for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? But that was my mindset. I didn't care about living back then. You know what I mean?
So the childhood trauma stayed with you for a while.
Yes.
And you just said, if I go here, then nobody will know what I was dealing with.
Nobody knew because we rarely talked about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
especially as men, and especially as black men, because most of us are growing up like, hey, you don't cry. You don't share your feelings, you know, you keep all that stuff bottled in. But what people don't realize is that's the reason why when we snap, we snap.
Yes.
That's the reason why, you know, we are, in a sense, the most mentally damaged, you know, group of people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not running statistics, but this is just based on things that I've seen, things that I've heard. Because by the time we think about sharing our feelings, you know, you got to have a real close-knit group, or maybe just one or two people that's like, yo, I've been dealing with the same thing, or man, I'm glad you said something, because you know, if you didn't say anything, we wouldn't know. So you have to find like that one or two extremely close people that you can share that with, because you know, I mentioned it a few times, but you know, I went through moderate to severe anxiety and depression. You know, never got along the lines of, you know, suicide, but it was just, don't talk to me, don't touch me, you know, and I'm just secluded.
Right.
You know, it gets to a point where I have that anxiety so high and that depression sits in where it's like all I want to do is just crawl in the corner, like a, you know, fetal position and cry. You know, and I'm like, with me having two sons, I'm like, I don't want my boys to even have to see that or experience that. So I try to make sure I keep them, you know, in a space of be aware, but just know you're gonna have to go through some stuff. You know, so, you know, childhood trauma, it is real. You know, I mean, even adult trauma, but childhood trauma is like unforeseen scars that can never heal.
Absolutely. And it's just lifelong scars. So, you know, I always ask myself, like I said before in the interview, like, was it ever about food? You know, I ask myself that often, you know.
And I was going to answer that. I was going to ask that too. Like, so even now, is it?
I don't think that it is. And I think that perspective wise, if we just talking about growth, like, it was a lot of stuff that I had to let go, or I couldn't be a great chef. You know what I mean?
Understood.
You're not gonna be a great nothing if I keep carrying these things that hurt me. The accolades don't matter. The medals in the army, they don't matter. None of that stuff matters if you're not good. You know what I mean? And cooking helped me. Taught me patience. Like, it taught me how to deal with my anxiety. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that I figured out a lot of my life by picking up a spatula, picking up a spoon, and saying I like to do this because one, I like service. Services, hospitality is high on that list of priorities for me. I like the best service to everything. I like giving people the best service to everything. So, you know, a lot of it stemmed from just being a perfectionist growing up because you always feel like you had to get it right. You know what I mean? And when you didn't get it right, I still deal with it a little bit now. You know, even now, I still just want to make sure it's just right. Like I wanted to make sure that was just right. I'll take being a few minutes late, but I want to make sure this dish is just right. You know what I mean?
Right,
That's just me. I want to make sure I timed it just right so I can cook it and we can get here and it wasn't overcooked, it wasn't undercooked, it was perfect. You know what I mean? So I do deal with that a little bit, but I will say that just in general, the childhood traumas, like I seen a lot of people, like I used to go to prisons, like when my brother went to prison, my biological brother did 10 years in prison, you know, for armed robbery, you know, intent to kill, like, and it's like, where does that stem from? You know what I mean? A lot of unresolved stuff that we were dealing with, you know, molestation and different things that we dealt with, even abandonment as a kid, certain things that just don't go away. And the average black man, you already know they either we weren't raised to talk about it. So you have people like myself that's just gonna pick up a pad and start drawing and just like, I ain't even trying to think about that. And then you got some people like my brother used to go to people's house and steal from their houses and break in their houses and, you know what I mean, stealing cars, just wild stuff. You know what I mean?
Finding a coping mechanism regardless of if it's right or wrong, you know, and that's always pending, you know, who's being the person that's, you know, looking at it. So I'm gonna say that from all of that, growing up, your support system really wasn't there. And you started drawing and you went from drawing to cooking and working at this restaurant. It was definitely, I'm gonna say, a pivotal moment.
Yes.
You know, like you said, life changing.
Yep.
So going from that, then going into the Army, that just added on. And like you said, and I hope people understand that you get to a certain point, you have to let certain things go in order to live.
Yeah.
Other than that, you stay in that space of anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts. Like, we can't change the past, but we don't have to dwell on it.
Right.
You know, so you start cooking, high school, got in trouble about the crab legs. I don't think I'm ever gonna let that go. So when I send you a message with some crab legs, just know, don't be mad. You know, so since you've been in this cooking space, you said I want to say you said 2018, but I can't remember. 2018.
2018 was my LLC year. That was my LLC year. So we hit the ground running July 18th.
And how has the support been since then?
Support is, I get all my support from strangers. You know,
there you go.
I never really got that from family members. Though they would reach out if they want something for free. Now when the family cookouts, you know, it's like, bring that mac and cheese down here. You
right.
know, but,
so you coming for Thanksgiving? You coming for Thanksgiving, right? You bring that mac and cheese.
You know. But you know, and I know a lot of it was a little pride. My dad, he just always was the guy that fried the turkeys and baked the turkey. So you ain't about to come over here. I don't care about none of that famous chef stuff you got going on. You know, you know. But I don't that part of my family, I had to disassociate from those guys because of a lot of things that we've been through and the lack of acknowledgement. And, you know, so, you know, it never was about food, brother. None of it. You know, it's all about resilience, you know, not being afraid to walk in, you know, and not being afraid to walk away. You know, that was hard. 2024 was hard. You know what I mean?
Oh, that was just last year.
That was just last year. It was like last spring. And, you know, I went to the low country to just being open-minded. So I can't come back here. It hurts too much, you know? And when you tell somebody that those things didn't happen to them, I don't even feel safe over here no more, dog. I'm gonna kick it up here in Charlotte. You know,
well, y'all stay down there.
Right.
I'm good.
You know, so you know, and I was just there for my high school homecoming. I was just there like 2 weeks ago, but I can't go back to this house. You know what I mean? I can't put myself in hostile environments, and you know,
can't reopen those wounds.
You know, some of them you can't, and a lot of it's not because you don't want to. It's from the lack of acknowledgement. You know, I don't want to. I fear being that type of dad. I would never be that type of dad to say like, I think you got the wrong idea about what happened to you. You know, like
Right.
that's not fair. You know, that's not fair to nobody. So a lot of disappointment, nonetheless. Not no anger, just disappointment because it just you know, a lot of times people like that just remind you of what not to be. You know, who not to become. You know, so it's like you don't hate them. Distance is my new response to just about anything, especially when people, I just, you know, I don't need you to see my vision. I don't need you to support. So support for me is hearing me out. You know what I mean? Being a soft landing, you know, so it's like this, the support from family hasn't been there. All my support comes from people that I just meet through food, literally, you know, and a lot of it's through my professional network when I go to these restaurants, and so I'm throwing my name out there in rooms I know I ain't qualified to be in, but
Yeah, we know
like,
about that, don't we, Shamar?
you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna throw it out there and get what we get a bite back. We gonna turn up, you know, and
Right.
you know, and it's like not being afraid to look the craziest that like advanced me really fast in the culinary world. You know, I don't care about culinary. I never went to culinary school. A lot of people don't know that. I never did any of that stuff. I when like it's like, did you do it in the Army? Nope, I didn't do it in the Army. I was a construction engineer. You know, and you know, like I didn't do any of that. You know, I just always loved food, and I always saw how anytime you get those reactions on a high level, I always think about that time I stole those crab legs and went to school. You know, I always sit back and think about that. You know, sometimes I still laugh about it, but it's just that little boy in me seeing that this is, I've been telling this story for a long time. That was 2007. You know what I mean? Been telling the story for a long time. So, you know, it's been nonetheless a blessing, but, you know, support just between strangers and just people that I built in my network, and just people, you know, just people that see my vision. I got some people from day one that's still here that, you know, but a lot of them people that I just, you know, just meet in crossing, and that's it. Yeah.
So food is truly your connection to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, you know, for a lot of people in a creative space, we don't have family as like quote unquote number one supporters.
Yep.
You know, I've said multiple times on different episodes, like, you know, if your target audience is mom and dad, you're not going too far, because there's so many more people in the world, and those are the people you need to try to reach.
Mm-hmm.
And what better way than use food to connect with people? It puts you at peace. It gets you in a clarity state of mind, and you can go into these venues, into these spaces that we don't belong in, as some people put it,
Right.
you know, and connect with people. And because it is food, I mean, who doesn't talk about food?
Right.
I mean, we talk about food regardless. I don't care what nobody say. I'm going to talk about food.
That's all Tay does is talk about food.
Because your boy always ready to eat. That's why we're picking at my baby boy too, because that boy, he can eat, you know. But so
hey, I got to jump in there, Tay. So I don't want to lose sight of it. Yes, you didn't get the support from your family, but Mr. Pam, I heard you talking about him and the other people and stuff. So, you know, there's we have to acknowledge and appreciate the village, you know, the people that are around us, because you were young then, but they saw something in you and then they just nurtured it, right? Even the teachers that was running down the hallway to get them crab.
Absolutely.
yes.
So, yo, I appreciate those people that can see and recognize, you know, a need in them and stuff like that. So I guess real quick, how did you, you know, was it just natural that you leaned into them? You knew that you was needing that support, and when you saw them giving it to you, is that what made you lean into it? Kind of talk about that.
Well, it gave me a better sense of what community felt like, and it helped me learn early on that blood don't make you family. You know, that I learned
Say that one more time.
Blood does not make you family.
It does not.
Exactly.
You know, I will cut you off. I will let you go. Please be great, but you can't go on this run with me. And that's been my motto these last few years. Not being afraid to just let them go. And shout out to those people that still, you know, even the people that's, you know, coming along now, we appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. I see it. I got people that's like literally giving me my flowers, and I feel like I'm long overdue for those. You know what I'm saying? Just being real, you know. So shout out to the village, shout out to Mr. Pam. Anybody down there in Bamberg that's just I always like looking back and just being motivation for some of those guys that come from the same everything, and just being a voice for those people that might have been harmed at home, that ain't never really told their mama how they felt. You know what I'm saying? Or told dad how they felt, you know what I mean, about being harmed or whatever. So you know, just shout out to those people that's supporting us, man. It really means everything. And I want to always make those people proud, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I even want to make my parents proud, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know, I always want to be a reflection of resilience, and just being a voice for people that you know, started from literally ground zero and just built their own thing, you know.
Yeah. So shout out to all supporters, for anybody and everybody. If you have been told that you are a supporter, leave that down in the comments. If you know you are a supporter, and I'm trying not to go there, Shamar, because I see you looking. I'm trying not to go there, but I might end up
If
going
you a
there.
hater.
Listen.
If
I
you a
wanna throw
hater, hey, hello.
Listen, I want this is I'm trying to make it simple. Just because you gave somebody $5 does not necessarily make you a supporter because y'all asked for it back. Remember that.
Right.
Understand, when it comes to this support thing, we don't necessarily need it, but we want it. So it could be 100 people standing right here that say we support you. And for me personally, I can guarantee you out of 100, there really might only be 10. And out of that 10, it's going to be at minimum, it might be at max, 3 people, ride or die, no matter what happens. Tay, I got you. Shamar, I got you. Darius, I got you. There's going to be, y'all got to understand, there are levels to support. We appreciate all of it, but understand where you stand or sit or fall based on whatever's going on. Because there are people like, oh, you know, I've been here for years. I mean, you've been around.
Take
Right.
land this plane.
I'm trying. See, this is why I said I wasn't trying to go there. But, you know, I'm okay. I'm going to digress. We'll come back this way. At the end of the day, we appreciate all supporters, but please understand where y'all stand, sit, or fall inside that circle.
Yo, so here's what I want to know. Cause now I'm getting hungry, so you know I'm ready to eat. But my thing is this: y'all been talking about food, your love of food and stuff, man. How are you staying in shape while having all this food? What's good, man?
Wow, that is a great question, because I literally, man, I wish I could show y'all a picture of what I used to look like, man. I was 25, 26, but I always had a old school mindset, you know what I mean? And even in the military, like, I still can't understand why I was so out of shape, or why I was so content with not being my best self. You know what I'm saying? And when I was in Afghanistan, I got in really good shape when I was overseas, because that was how we dealt with stuff. You know what I mean? We gonna have a long day. You know, you might deal with some BS on the flight line. Man, we going to the gym, bump that. You know what I mean? It don't matter what time of the day it is, we going to the gym. And the gym was open 24/7, so we could go anytime we wanted to. And we had 24-hour shifts. So we always was able to go to the gym. So that's where it started at. And when I came back home, got lazy, got content, started backpedaling old habits and stuff. And man, I a couple years ago, man, you know, while I was in between working, you know, I could afford that $30 gym membership. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a hassle. So I was unemployed. I do little events here and there, but I wasn't really employed. I was still trying to figure some things out. But this was, you know, prior to me moving to Charlotte. And you know, one of my first jobs, I used to go to the gym every day down there, but one of my first jobs in this space, in this culinary space, one of my first corporate jobs, I went to Dallas for a flight school training, like a leadership training for chefs. And we spent about 3 days down there, but they had a Dean's Italian Steakhouse down in Austin. And man, I saw the dang on head chef. He's stacked. I'm talking about, ripped guy, white guy, look all of 35. He's like freaking 55 years old. I'm like, there's no way that this guy's in this type of shape. So, I never been a guy, I'm gonna sit here and scratch my head. I never been a guy that's like jealous or hating or nothing like that in the back of my head. I'm like, man, how he doing this? You know what I mean? I'm talking about stacked, ripped arms, chest, you know what I mean? It's crazy, and it's like, it just reminds me that I don't have to be what I cook. And I cooked a lot of soul food, a lot of comfort food, stuff like that. And we usually eat that. You can consume that stuff. And I would ask them small little questions. It was very fundamental questions, but I always that's when I started changing my eating habits. You know what I mean? I was already eating healthy, but it wasn't consistent. You know what I mean? I never really was like a pigging out type guy, but it was a point in time where it's like, man, we grabbed Wendy's on the way home. We got Zaxby's on the way home. You know what I mean? That's what it was for a little minute, but going to the gym saved my life. I ain't gonna lie, because it was literally one day. I remember I was good, but I was like, in the back of my head, I was just contemplating some suicidal thoughts, and I walked out of the gym. I had just did a TV interview before that. To be honest, I did a TV interview the day before that, and I'm walking out of the gym, dude pulls me by my arm. I'm thinking about going home, just ending everything, like just whatever, the whole day was just great. And dude told me how much I motivated him. And every day after that, I said, I got to get up and I got to try this shit again. I got to try it again. I got to try it again. And every day after that, I literally just kept getting up trying, and so it's not about having big muscles and stuff like that. I just like to look young. I got my friends telling me, man, you look younger than you ever looked. You know what I'm saying? And it's fitness has just become a way of life. You know what I mean? And I don't gotta be what I eat. You know what I'm saying? I don't eat all my protein every day, but I eat my protein most of my days. And because some days I just straight up ain't got no appetite because I'm literally in the kitchen the entire day. You know what I'm saying? Most days. So from a stamina aspect to just looking my best and feeling my best, going to that gym helped me figure out so much of my life. You know what I mean? I walk in there with a plan, and I might not have an answer when I walk out of there, but I got a better perspective of how to attack it now.
Right,
and
right.
That's what turned me up in there. And you do have the little small goals for yourself in between. You know what I'm saying? So it's like lately I just been doing this 4 a.m. stuff. You know what I mean? The 4 a.m. stuff is it's crazy because I'm just like, I never thought I would be a 4 a.m. guy. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like going to the gym and lifting weights that early is just crazy, and doing it in your 30s. But I also witnessed a lot of other guys. You walk in the locker room, you like, man, I got these white guys, some older black guys. I'm like, bro, there's no way. How old are you, man? It's like, man, I'm 58. Bro, what? You're how old? So for me, it's a culture shock in a sense because I'm coming from a country's town, man. Nobody looks like there's not one person in the town, athlete or not, look like that. So it made me understand that I'm only as good as my last decision, right? And like,
that's
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like
That's a bar.
Yeah, I'm only as great as my last great decision. You know what I mean? And it's like every single day, it's like I wake up with a plan to go to the gym and just to look my best, just to be my best. And I go in there some days I just ain't got it. You know what I mean? But guess what? I go in there and get what I got.
Yep.
And I can go to bed at night knowing that I gave everything I had and stuff. So and just being real, like during pandemic, I got up to about 248, and man, hit some depression, some serious depression. Started talking about my stuff with my family and started talking out loud. And man, I lost almost 60 pounds. I lost almost 60 pounds.
That's what's up.
I dropped down to 187. So it's like, and it's like nobody wasn't asking me what they could do to help. Everybody's like, man, you shoulder's losing a lot of weight, you know what I'm saying? Like everything all right, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, people make little jokes here and there and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, the whole time, man, I'm just waking up, everything's black. Nobody knows that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like I never thought that stress could do that to your body. I never thought that you can lose that much weight. You know what I mean?
Stressing
You know
out.
what I'm saying? But some of it was not eating solids. I was drinking smoothies every day. I wasn't eating solids. I was like the whole month of September, that 2020, the whole month of September, I ate a few solid meals, but I ain't drank nothing but fruit. The whole month. The entire month.
If you I might need to slow down on them smoothies then. I don't need to lose too much more weight.
Bro, but I was dark. It was dark. And I look back and I'm like, man, like if I can get up and go to the gym and now my kids get to see what structure looks like, what fitness structure looks like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And my friends, I might motivate them, you know what I'm saying? My partner, I might motivate her, you know what I'm saying? I might do all of these things and I got the power to do that, you know what I'm saying, while still figuring life out. You know what I mean?
You never know who's watching.
You never know who's watching. And I walked out of the gym that day and that guy told me that and I was like, man, I need to stop tripping. Let me goddamn go shake this thing off and I'm gonna be all right. You know, and I've had thoughts since then, but it also makes me remember, like, man, just like I said, you only as great as the last great thing you did.
Purpose.
You know what I mean? Purpose. You know what I mean? So just getting up and honestly being in this space, like I cook for a lot of professional athletes on a everyday basis. Mm-hmm. So me walking in your crib, you gonna trust me to take care of your kitchen.
Right.
And take care of your diet the same way, you know what I'm saying? So it's like just being in this space with working with, you know, professional athletes, that's helped me out a lot too, because it's like, now I gotta hold myself accountable too. I ain't coming here eating, you know, spaghetti and nonsense and, you know, whatever. Anything I'm eating that is not beneficial to my health, you know what I mean? We eat stuff, whatever stuff that I want to eat, but I like being consistent in my diet. I had a dad that died at 50. You know what I mean? I'm 30. I'll be 34 in less than 2 months. That ain't a long time from now, you know, and I want to be in the number at 50. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like I look back and I'm like, all those things play in your mind when you lifting those weights. All those things play in your mind, you know. But I literally you see one thing, and then you know people start to tell you, man, you look huge, and it's like I still don't see what people see. It's even right now, I still be like, man, you just look like da da da, and it's like, bruh, it's like someday I'll be feeling like a big glob of fat myself, like just being 100%. Like I still feel like I'm not my best because I'm always thinking about how to get better, you know what I mean? How to perfect that form, you know what I mean? And just everything about fitness in general just helped me reshape every aspect of my life. So
with all of that, what seed would you want to plant for someone that's trying to get into the culinary space?
Oh man, don't stop. Like literally, like, and for me, that's for anybody. Like, I think about where things started and I'm looking at where things are now, and it's like only the common denominator was me not stopping. You know what I mean? Like when I went through depression, I didn't stop. I mean, I probably cooked the best food I ever cooked while I was depressed. And if you can operate in your most effed up state, then it ain't no telling what you can do. And when you done figured out certain parts of your mental health, that, you understand what I'm saying? If you can create in your most effed up state,
imagine what you can do with a clear mind.
When you come on the other side of that storm, it's no telling what you're capable of. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, sir.
So we getting ready to oh my God. We getting ready to wrap this up in just a second. While they are bringing us these plates,
sir.
And that okay, so I ain't worried about them behind the camera. I'm gonna open up the floor for you to ask me a question. And while you doing that, well, before you do that, let the people know what we got before I start digging in, because you can ask that question. I can answer it afterwards.
I was thinking this morning, and I was like, seafood. Huh. What's gonna blow these guys' mind today? So today we got, I wanted to take it a little Creole while still keeping it super healthy, right? A little New Orleans. I love New Orleans food. So we did a little blacking. We did a little garlic herb salmon. I threw a little blacking on top of it. We have a butter poached crab. You got some cauli risotto down at the bottom, and you got a sun-dried tomato sauce. So, it has some Parmesan in there, it has some Gouda in there.
Gouda?
Yes, sir. So it's some, and you have rapini as well for your vegetable. So, it's very, very one of my. It's not. I don't have a favorite dish. Whatever I'm cooking for the day, that is my favorite dish. But this right here is a dish that's very near and dear to me. Just from me loving the New Orleans culture, loving my love for seafood, and just a healthy delivery. So this could be a meal prep. This could be a dinner. It could be whatever you want it to be. But I want to make sure I made something that will wow you guys. One of my mottos has always been people never forget how you make them feel when food's involved. You know, anytime we talk about food and hospitality at the highest level, like I'm gonna walk out of this room and you're gonna remember me because of that food. That food was amazing, you know. So definitely, man. Yes, sir.
So listen, y'all. I was trying not to touch this, but I ain't worried about y'all right now. Shamar, you got yours? Not yet. Listen, I'm about to taste this salmon, and I'm gonna let y'all know what this tastes like. You can ask me that question, but I'm about to.
Yes, sir. Do you have a special like a particular dish that's like your favorite in like the pescatarian?
It's almost like you said, whatever dish is in front of me is my favorite dish right there.
Yeah, yes,
Listen,
sir.
This salmon, and you said this is crab on top?
Mm-hmm. It's butter poached crab, yes, sir.
Oh,
I'm about to dive in. Uh-oh. Tay done threw it back.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna eat mine. If y'all want to take an extra one, I like feel free. Unless you want it paid. Do you want it paid?
Oh my goodness.
It don't
Yo. She smiled. She said yes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna eat mine. It's all good.
Listen. Oh my God.
Hold on. What's on top? What?
This is a butter poached lump crab.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
I gotta wait because
Got it.
I know you said butter poached, but the way that butter, y'all know how butter melts in the pan? You know, you just throw it in there and you just wait. And then you look back and it's like a lump and you can see it's just spreading. That is how that flavor is on the roof of your mouth. And then it drips down to your tongue. And I'm sitting here like, you know how you got your favorite dish on the plate and you just push it to the side, I'm gonna eat that last? That's how this crab is, y'all. Now, this salmon, you said the salmon was blackened?
Mm-hmm. I put a little blackened on top, some garlic and herbs. I like to base mine with butter. I like to sear it and then base it with butter to cook it down to I think it should be about a medium, mid-well temperature. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you can taste it. And you said, what was this sauce again?
This is sun-dried tomato cream sauce. I use Parmesan, Gouda, some shallots in there, some garlic, some seafood stock, and heavy cream. Yes, sir. It's one of my favorite base sauces to make. You can use it for anything seafood, chicken as well. It goes great on chicken as well.
Now, I don't know how everybody else's taste buds are, but my taste buds are way better than my hearing, okay? This sauce, the way my taste buds work, I taste everything at the same time. Then my taste buds, it's like they individually pick what flavor they want to have. And I'm tasting all of that. It's not too much tomatoes, not a lot of garlic, but I know it's there. And I'm assuming Shamar's okay because he ain't saying nothing.
Y'all know what they say when black people quiet.
That's it. Because I'm
food good.
Go ahead and talk to you. I'm gonna handle this. And I don't like tomatoes, and I don't even taste it. This is just amazing.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, man.
But oh my God. Is Miss Debbie over there in her plate too? She giving it the thumbs
She
up.
got the thumbs up.
So she okay over there too.
Blessings,
but listen,
blessings. Yes, sir.
Did you ask me that question yet? Because I don't remember.
So what, like in this time of the year, like it's always, we're getting ready for the holidays and we're getting ready for the, Christmas and Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving first. What's a typical Thanksgiving like for you and your family?
Thanksgiving is depending on where it's at, it's me and my brother in the kitchen, and we'll smoke a brisket, smoke a turkey, fry a turkey. I don't know what we do with the ham because I don't eat pork, but I'm the one that glazes it. Shamar, you laughing at me?
No, I'm laughing at me. I'm over here knocking stuff over trying to get to this salmon.
But I'm the one that puts the honey and the brown sugar and the pineapples on the ham.
Yeah.
And everybody like, oh man, this is good. And I'm like,
right. You just don't eat it.
I can't eat it. So I can't agree
it's
with
good.
you.
It's good eating, man.
Yes.
I don't eat a lot of it, but I will eat it. Depending on who cook it. That definitely matters above anything. But I try to keep my pork intake to a minimum, nonetheless. But if I had to pick one seafood, it's definitely salmon. So sorry, I had to pick one particular one. It's always seafood. I'm sorry. Any particular type of food that I love to cook, it's gonna always be seafood. Any form of seafood in any culture, any culture of food. Yes, sir.
And the culture at the studio is loving this.
Yes, sir.
Yo, and because this is what the Thanksgiving theme and stuff, I'm just thankful for Chef Darius.
Yes.
I am thankful for this plate.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And tell us something, just one thing that you thankful for.
Just thankful for capacity, man. And that's a multifaceted word because, man, God done put so much in my hands and put so much in my lap, and a lot of responsibility, a lot of sacrifice, but just thank God for capacity and the will to wake up and go and get it every day. I wake up every day with a certain hunger. And honestly, when I ain't cooking, I don't even feel my best. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel my best. When I'm not cooking, I'm not creating. So just thankful for capacity, thankful for support, thankful for just having all the right things that God put in front of me right now.
Right.
Thankful for discernment, everything. I just love being able to wake up and say, this is my life. I get to choose, and just thankful for the ability to pivot. Thankful for redirection because sometimes that's the best protection, the best form of protection.
Yeah.
I've been redirected a lot this year, just especially in the culinary space. But I got put in some rooms that my little country behind would have never thought. That's like, what? And and I learned to love. Like, one thing I learned to love about myself, I even spoke about it a few days ago. It's like, man, I like cooking in $1 million mansions. It ain't nothing greater than that. My little country behind, my house is about the size of the studio, just being honest. So when I can go in these $1 million houses and, I can bring my kids to work with me and show that to them as well and show them what hard work and sacrifice look like. And that is like, that's everything to me. Literally, that is literally everything. Just being able to show them what hard work looks like. We got this one client got a basketball court in his house, and we ain't grew up
in the house.
A full basketball court in the house,
not outside, not half court down in the basement,
in the house, and it's like that. List, it's just being able to speak to that little kid in me, while letting my kids enjoy that. That's one of life's biggest thrills. And it's not about the basketball court. You know what I mean? It's just about exposure to a life that we didn't dream was possible. So just thank God for everything that He's done for us this year. I'm building my own little family. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to do all of those things. I want to rewrite my own story when it comes to all of those things with love and just raise my kids a certain type of way, put them in environments that's only going to challenge them and push them to be better, and so just thank God for all that, man. Like, seriously, it's been a tremendous year. I got a restaurant coming. I didn't mention that. We got a restaurant coming in the spring, Sage and Citrus. I can't talk too much about it, but we're going to talk about it. Some healthy food. We got some healthy food coming to the Charlotte market. I got some good backing on this one. So I'm thankful for the will. You know, I opened a juice bar back in 2019, pre-COVID. And it's a story of redemption. It's a story of growth and rebuilding. A little less about the smoothies and about the healthy food, but just showing people that hey, if I can do it, you can do it too.
Right.
I stepped off the porch with a certain type of ambition at 26, 27, because I ain't care. You know what I mean? I'm going after it. And if I fall on my face, I'm going to get back up and I'm going to keep swinging. You know, that was just always my thing. So, you know, we pivoted away from that space for a while, you know, dealing with some COVID woes. And, man, I'm back now. So I got the greatest smoothies on earth hitting the Charlotte market. Ready to talk about it, ready to talk about some healthy food, ready to talk about partnerships, ready to talk about expansion. Like I see it going to a different place. So super thankful for everything. We got a lot. I got a heavy holiday season coming, but spring 26 got some great food, great healthy options hitting the Charlotte market.
So for everybody that's watching, let them know where they can follow everything that's going on with you right now.
They can follow us on I'm on Instagram, Chef Darius J, Noel's Catering on Instagram as well. Darius Johnson on all platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. I don't do all TikTok and all that stuff. I just I only need about 2 apps that need my attention, and when it's time to put it down, it's time to put it down. So
Right. So listen, y'all, I am about to finish enjoying this meal.
I'm done.
I'm about to work on mine. But listen, Chef Darius J, Chef DJ, we greatly appreciate you coming on the show. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate this lovely meal, because we didn't know what we were getting. He just said seafood. I said, oh, that can go anywhere.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
that's not a burger, or, you know, I'm just bringing some chicken. You know, this meal, I'm still tasting this crab. So I'm trying to get back to this. So I'm about to close this out.
A lot of flavor, a lot of love, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man.
Yes.
Definitely appreciate the opportunity to come talk a little bit, you know, mental health, all the way down to the food. We can talk about that stuff all day, brother.
All day.
I appreciate the opportunity, nonetheless, to break bread with you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Break bread with everybody here. Honestly, thank y'all so much for having me today, and look forward to connecting, brother. Yes, sir.
Listen, I mentioned it before we started, but the live, December 20th, if you can be here,
Yes, sir.
be here, you know, because we gonna be here.
Gotcha.
And they know we gonna be here. And we gonna enjoy that day. You got something?
Yep. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Shout out to Charlotte Podcast Studios. I'd like to thank us, and we'll holler at you later.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Peace.